Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter, and good 4th of July to you. Happy birthday to America. To all of our great listeners who aren't Americans, I pray that you celebrate and enjoy your country and have the same pride in your country that I have in ours. But for all of my American listeners, happy birthday to America. What a great day to be alive. Excited to go celebrate the 4th of July tonight. Dexter's going to be able to be out there. Last year, they were a little loud for him. He was just a baby, so he wasn't there, but excited to be with him tonight, watching fireworks. And wherever you are, thanks for joining me. Now, let's get right into it because we want to spend some time today um, reading email and answering your Raider questions. We got a lot of really good ones, and we're going to dig in. We are now literally 19 days. I want you to think about that. We're 19 days from training camp opening in Costa Mesa. Now, tomorrow morning is when the whole thing flips. Tomorrow is when the whole thing really takes on. Um, I'm trying to think how to word it. Literally everybody's mindset goes to the NFL tomorrow. Players will begin training to make sure that they're in great shape. They will just begin to really dig in on being prepared and being ready for training camp. So, this is just kind of that last day. This is that last moment um, for them getting ready to go. So enjoy it today. And then tomorrow is really the beginning of the football season. So July 23rd, kickoff of training camp in Costa Mesa. All right, let's get right into this now. First one comes to us from Johnny S. Good morning, Hondo. Quick question. I want to hear your thoughts on how Michael Gallup looked in minicamp. Great question here. Appreciate you again. That's Johnny S. Mike, he looked fine. Look fine. Again, and I know that probably a lot of people think this is mundane, but there are no pads. So I'll give you a couple examples of why that's so big. Wide receivers are elusive. That's their job, get open, catch passes. So when you can't be physical, you're not getting your butt kicked at the line of scrimmage those first 10 yards coming off the ball. You're just not. And so you can look great and all of it. I'll give you a great example. Devontae Adams, when I first saw him when he first came to the Raiders, we all know how good he is. That's not a secret. We all know how good he is. Well, I remember in training camp thinking, yeah, he looks good, but nobody has pads on, so it's, whatever. And then when pads came on and he was getting hit, you really realized how good he was just because how he could shed guys. Now, I'm not going to name names, but there are some guys like, oh, I guess I will name some names. Trey Tucker, there was an adjustment last year to going from college to the NFL, adjusting to that physicality of, especially in the Raider system, adjusting to that physicality of just, how are you gonna, adjust? How are you gonna deal with it? How are you gonna handle a big corner? It's one thing to play wide receiver at Cincinnati Bearcats, and then come to the NFL where you got Nate Hobbs. I mean, bam, bam, bam. Those first 10 yards, you're being manhandled. It's an adjustment. Now, we know Michael Gallup is a vet. We know he's been around a long time. So we're not comparing the two, Trey Tucker with Michael Gallup. But yeah, he looked really good, but I'm not judging that. That's why I said to you that mini camp and OTAs are not for evaluation, they're for installation. So, how do you look? Fine, but I have no judgment on how he's going to be in the season. I got to see that in the pads. And that, my brother, is in 19 days. Oh, I'm so excited. And I hope you are too. I mean, this is what makes the sport fun. This is what makes it fun. This is why I'll sit down and watch a preseason game. I remember a couple years ago, may have been a little bit longer than that, maybe 15 years ago. My wife and I are driving up through the country up to uh, a cottage on the lake. And we looked out there, and here were these group of, I don't know, 10, 15 boys playing touch football. And we had stopped. I don't remember if our son wanted an ice cream cone. I think our son wanted an ice cream cone. So we stopped and got an ice cream cone. And we're sitting at the picnic tables watching this practice. And there was this one particular boy, and I'm going to guess they're probably 8 to 10 years old, 8 to 9, maybe 8 to 11 years old, who was an offensive lineman, and he had his hands all wrong. And so I just walked over and young man, I said, sir, young man, I noticed you're a bigger kid like I was. Uh, I noticed you doing something with your hands. Can I show you how to do that the right way? And I think I said, I think you could be a good offensive lineman. He said, sure. And I showed him. And before you know it, all 10 or 12 of the kids are there. And everybody's gathered around and they're asking me to show them. So we were doing drills together and they don't know, I'm 100 miles from my house, having doing football drills. I don't care who you are. Once you get snake bit by the football bug, it doesn't matter if it's Pee Wee football or NFL football. You just love football. Come on now. And so it's that time of year. Hope you're excited about it. Hope you're fired up about it. All right, let's keep going now. Next one. Hi, Hondo. My name is Alex. I'm from Monterrey, Mexico. Question is about Aiden O'Connell. I love the kid. Something in me tells me that this is the kid we've been waiting for as a quarterback since Gannon. The same feeling in my head tells me AP's the coach we've been waiting for since Flores. Do you think Aiden would get better national press if he wasn't so unassuming? You are totally right. He looks like the guy that will fix your car when you take it for service. He just looks like a regular person, but that's what I love about him. I just know he's a great kid, a great human being. Now, this is Alex in Monterrey, Mexico. Alex, let me say a couple of things there. He is a regular guy, but remember, all these guys are regular guys. They're all human, just like you. And I want to address this first, and then I'm going to go answer your question. I always laugh when an NFL player does something wrong, and people are like, "Oh, there he's entitled, rich football players." Okay, there are some that are entitled, but remember, football players are a microcosm of the population. There are people in the population that are entitled, that they're not entitled, but they act entitled. Sometimes people like to put professional athletes on a pedestal, and they don't belong there. Nobody in your life belongs on a pedestal but one person. And so I always think it's sad when people make it out like football players are the only people that are bad. And let me just say something to you, and I'll say it, and I may offend some people, but I'm okay about that. I got thick skin. Percentage wise, I totally believe professional athletes in the NFL are much higher percentage are great citizens than the general population. I can't tell you the number of good things that go on, and I'm going to address this in the next email, but I can't tell you the number of good things players do, and they're not looking for any credit. I mean, Colton Miller just had a great camp in California. Alexander Madison just had a great camp. I mean, these guys are constantly giving back. It just doesn't get all the recognition. And I know of players. I mean, you guys have seen it from time to time. On this show, somebody will email in and whatever. And I've had players, I've had NFL people that have seen it and emailed me and said, "Hey, I want to do something for that kid, or I want to do this or whatever." I can't tell you the number of people that email me wanting me to do things for people because they see that we do it, and those just instantly get deleted. Instant. Don't our staff knows. I can't. I'm not gonna promote your GoFundMe's because the moment I promote one and not another, then it creates all kinds of just don't do it. Don't do it. And but I can't tell you the number of things that players do. I literally can't tell you the number of things. Many of them, yeah, please don't say anything. There was a player who heard a person's email on this podcast, called me up and said, "Hey, I'd like to can you get that guy's address? I would like to send you, meaning me, a jersey, and you pass it on to them. That really touched my mom." I said, "Oh, okay." I, I just can't tell you the number of things. I'll tell you, I'm going to have one here in a minute, but I'll tell you another one. I know a Raider player who pulled into a gas station, and there was a single mom, and he didn't know she was a single mom at the time, but there was a single mom, and he's married. He wasn't hitting on her, and she put, I think, $5 of gas in her car, and he was around the other side of the car. She had no idea it was a Raider player, no idea who it was, and she said to her son, "No, buddy, that's gotta last me till" I don't let's assume it was a Monday. "That's gotta last me till Friday, till payday. That's all the money I have." So, no, we had to put all of my money in gas. Raider player walked over. He said, I couldn't help but hear you say you could only put $5 in gas. That was all the money you had." She said, "Yeah, I'm a single mom, so things are a little tight, but I'm fine. I'm all right. I'm off work until Friday, so I'm not gonna be driving anywhere." He goes, "Well, why don't you just fill your car up?" She said, "No, no, no, no. I'm not asking you to do that." She goes, "I'm fine. I don't have anywhere to go." And he goes, "I know." He goes, "I'm not hitting on you, but I was raised by a single mom. Can I fill your car?" And she started crying. So he fills her car up and gets ready to leave and hands her, I think it was two $100 bills, and just says to her, "Hey, it's gonna be rough being a single parent. Here you go." And he gives her two $100 bills. So she's sobbing. He drives away. Person walks up to her and says, "Do you know who that was?" And she said, "No." And the person told him, "He's a Raider." "Really?" "Yeah." So she this person helped her, and she got a hold of me and sent me this story. So I go to the Raider player and I said, "Hey, this was really cool what you did for this lady, and I just would like to write a story about it because I'm tired of people acting like the only time they hear about football players is bad stuff." He goes, "Please don't." He goes, "I didn't do it for that. I had a single mom who struggled, and it just really touched me." And I said, "Okay." So I never wrote about it. So, but remember, Alex, they are normal people. And I'm going to tell you this, 99 out of 100 NFL players are just really good guys, really good guys, really good guys. My wife and I are very close to a offensive lineman. Several of them actually, but one particular guy I'm thinking about who absolutely adores his wife and his family and all of his children, and just a great guy. And it's humorous because everyone assumes the professional athletes are out there, you know, chasing after ladies, even if they're married and all that kind of stuff. And it's just not the reality. Are there some? Yeah, but guess what? There are guys chasing ladies in every profession. But the majority of these guys are just good, solid human beings. They're hard workers. They love their families. They're good people. Remember, He is a regular guy. He just happens to be an NFL quarterback. Now, moving back to him, to Aiden O'Connell, I think he'd be getting better press if he was not unassuming, if he was more assuming? Yes. But if he was that guy, he wouldn't be who he is. Okay, CJ Stroud. I've known CJ a long time. Okay. Great kid. I remember the very first time I met him, he is just salt of the earth. The first time you meet him, you're like, "Oh, yeah, I like this kid. He's just such a good kid." And, I just a good kid. Let's leave it right there. And the first time I met him was kind of a unique situation, and you just watched him. He wasn't a star, just a good kid. And but he's very charismatic in his personality. People are drawn to him. Aiden is a good leader. People are drawn to him. They like him and they respect him. But is he flamboyant? No. Is he unassuming? Yes. So do I think he would be getting better? Oh yeah. But here's the thing. Among the people that it matters most, among the people that it matters most, this is important. Among the people it matters most, which are NFL people, Aiden has a lot of respect. Okay, the next one comes to us from Madison. Dear Mr. Carpenter, wanted to tell you a hilarious story. My son and I were least recently coming out of a store, and walking out of the store, he saw Colton Miller. My son had on his Raiders shirt, and Colton asked him, "Are you a Raider fan?" He said, "I absolutely am," and made it clear that he knew who Colton was. I just thought it was really cool that as I was checking out, he sat there and talked to my son just as a normal kid. What a terrific young man Colton Miller was. Our family are big Raider fans. We enjoy your podcast. I just wanted to tell you about him. I thought it was very cool in the way he treated people. If it wasn't the fact that he's the size of Mount Charleston, you would have never known he was a football player or a Raider. He was so kind, so humble. He engaged my son. I thought it humorous that when my son pointed him out to me, I had told him leave him alone. And then he saw his shirt and engaged him. I just wanted you to know that story. You've talked about him many times, how he's a great person. I saw it firsthand. That was very nice of him. To this day, my son is an even bigger fan. And what I liked is that Colton Miller was about people, not about Colton Miller. He was raised right. There you go, from Maddie. See what I mean? And I get these all the time about players. Colton goes to a store, sees a kid in a Raider shirt. Hey, you Raider fan? Yes, sir, I am, Mr. Miller. Just sits there and talks football with the kid. I can't tell you the number of stories, the hospitals they go to, the things that they do, the way they reach out to people, the money that they give, the time that they volunteer. Those stories don't get told. And they don't get told most of the time because the players don't want them told. From time to time, we'll do nice things for people on this podcast. And then you just get flooded with requests. And when people ask, the answer is no. But it doesn't mean that their cause isn't good or their cause isn't right. You just can't do everything. And so they don't want the publicity. They just do it because they're good people. I thought you'd appreciate that one. All right, here we go. Next one. This comes from Brian T. in Richmond, Virginia. Good morning, Hondo. My question, or inquiry rather, is to get your take on how the officiating impacts the outcome of games. I recall one of your podcasts a couple of months ago when you discussed gambling in the NFL and whether or not it could impact games. All right, let's take a look at that. Let's talk about that. because this is a good question. So first of all, officiating impacts games in a big way, in a very, very big way. Let me tell you a couple of them. I know coaches now that have complete scouting department, or not departments, but people in the department whose sole focus is the refs. Now you got to think about that one. I reached out to one of my friends who has this, and he asked me not to mention their team, but he gave me a great example. Okay. So you have a defensive back official, defensive backfield official, and you know that one is very tight on that first 5 or 10 yards, and one that'll give you a little bit more leeway. He'll let you go maybe to, 12, 7 to 12. And you game plan for that. You game plan for that. There are some that are really good. I mean, there's holding on every play, but there are some, as long as the offensive lineman keeps his hands in the center of the body, they don't care about holding. When you get that hand off to the side or whatever, boom, then they all pretty much there. But then it's just the degree of how far the hands can go. That's why you want to keep center. Okay, there are all kinds of things. There are some defensive backs officials that are really strict on wide receivers. Really strict. I got to be careful because I don't want to give away who one of the officials is. But he talks about there is one official that if you know you're going up against a wide receiver that likes to push off and all that kind of stuff, he's very pro the defensive player. I like the fact that he told me there's one. That's disappointing. I wish there were more. But he said, so and you tell your defensive backs, hey, make him aware of this, because he'll call it. Other guys won't. So there are whole scoutings that go into who is your scouting. I mean, who is your officiating staff? You know that. There's some guys. I'll give you another example he told me about, not naming any names. There's one, head guy of a crew that's really good about coming up and giving warnings. Hey, you do that again, and I'm going to flag you. So you want to play it right. So late in the game, if you need to cheat a little bit, he's probably not going to pull the flag because you haven't done it the whole game, and he likes to give a warning. I think this part of the game is fascinating. It doesn't get talked about a lot because, quite frankly, NFL teams don't want it talked about because they don't want refs changing. But I don't think I'm giving away too many state secrets here. I just, yes, there's absolute scouting that goes into each step. I'll take you to basketball. I know college basketball coaches that develop their game plans around stuff. But I know, again, football coaches, same thing. Guys who watch the line. What does this guy let you get away with? What does this guy call tightly? They have analytics on refs. Hey, this guy calls the most penalties here or the most penalties there, or this guy. I mean, they have it all down to analytics when it comes to referees. It's mind blowing. It's like, whoa, are you kidding me? Oh yeah, they do, brother. They do. So yeah, that's a great question. And by the way, Alex, the other part of your email, I'm not going to address here, but I thought that was interesting. Thought that was interesting what you said. All right, next part. Oh, I'm sorry. Uh, Alex was 2 emails ago. So sorry about that, Alex. But the other part of your email, and then that one was from Brian in Richmond, Virginia. All right, let's keep going now. This comes to us from Michael S. from Indiana. Keep up the great work, Hondo. I have a question. No one seems to be asking. What happens if we lose one of our great kickers? They're such a huge part of the Raiders, but I believe we have to begin to take that. But I believe we have begun to take them for granted. Daniel Carlson had an injury last year, but pushed through it. Your thoughts about our boom boys, Michael S. in Indiana? That is a great question. And I love the boom boys. I may have to talk to Daniel and AJ about that now I'll give you credit. Of course, I won't take it, but I like that. That is also a great question, and I think Raider Nation has taken them for granted. I think the Raiders have the best kicker and the best punter in the NFL. Period. Period. I if I'm Telesco, and I believe that he 100% agrees with me, I would not if I could switch out Carlson or Cole for anyone in the league, I ain't moving them. First of all, they are two fantastic human beings, just great guys, just really, really good guys. I enjoy them both. I enjoy talking to them both. Uh, it, cameras rolling or not rolling, I just enjoy them. They're really good guys, and they're tremendous at what they do. They're tacticians. They're tacticians. Um, Tom McMahon, who a lot of people believe is the best special teams coach in the NFL, um, wouldn't trade either one of them as well. So good guys, and they fit in the locker room. You see a lot of times where kickers don't fit, kickers and punters. They're kind of off on their own, and they're not really part of the team, because they practice kind of on their own. And that's the true with the Raiders. It's that way everywhere. But those guys make the conscientious effort to be part of the team, and the team loves them both. They are just as much a part of the team congruency as anything. But what happens if you got a guy? Well, first of all, you're constantly bringing in kickers and punters in camp. You've got some guys, so you kind of know who's there. But a lot of times you'll see it. You got to go just bring a guy in off the street. It's not you know just the way it is. And so or you got a guy occasionally, but it is very rare that you have one on the um, practice squad. But you just go get one off the street and hope for the best. I'll tell you, kicker is the most and punter, the most underrated part of the game of football. I'm going to be honest. I don't know that I would carry one on my practice squad either. So I'm not saying that they should, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And I just think that you got to go get one off the street, and you hope to God that your scheming and the way you do things keeps them safe. So I hope that answers your question. All right, here we go. Now I'm good on time. So here we go. We're going to do another one right now. Dear Mr. Carpenter. Oh no, no, I want to read a different one. Hi Hondo. I am a major Raider fan, and I played high school football. This is going to be my first year of coaching in high school, and I would love coaching offensive line in high school. I'd love some advice. Kyle, Raider Kyle from California. All right, Raider Kyle. So let me give you a couple of things here. Number one, you want to teach your kids your knees need to be in front of your shins. That means that there's a movement forward. That's a big one. But the second thing that I would give you, and it's true even in the pros, you got to keep it fun. Got to keep it fun. Big uglies, we have a different mentality. Got to keep it fun. Got to keep it fun, especially at the high school level. But I mean, most coaches, like I know coaches who used to teach offensive linemen need to keep their hands like this. No, they don't. You teach them how to use their hands here, right here, between the shoulder blades. Keep your hands in there, but teach them how they can hold in there. Even at the high school level, they can hold in there. Teach them that. Teach them how to use their hands. Trust me. If you teach them, a lot of times the teaching at the early levels, Pee Wee, junior high, JV, freshman, high school, a lot of the schools, they don't teach the offensive linemen how to use their hands, which makes no sense to me at all. None. And so you see a lot of offensive line play. And then you go and you watch some of the great high schools, and they teach that. I once asked a college high school coach, what's the biggest thing when you're looking for offensive linemen? As he said, well, you can't teach size, speed, and strength. That comes from God. He says, but the next thing is you like to go to a school where there's good offensive line teaching. And I will tell you this, I've had very successful college coaches, Nick included, who said to me, "That's some of the worst coaching in high schools is line coaching." So you got a really good spot there, and you'll be a really good one. But remember, knees in front of your shins, how to use those hands and keep it fun. Remember that. Knees in front of your hands, keep it fun. Knees in front of your hands, keep it fun. Knees in front of your hands, keep it fun. All right, here we go. Let's go to the next one now and hit this one. Dear Mr. Carpenter, my name is Ricky, and my dad is Rick, and my mom is Catherine. My dad is in the Army in Germany, but we both watch your podcast every day and then email each other about it. We love the Raiders. My dad can't call every day. We talk every Wednesday night, but he can email me all the time. We love being able to talk Raiders. Mom used to hate football, but she likes your Father's Day story on AP and Mother's Day story on Mr. Max Crosby, our great defensive end. Now, she listens to the podcast and we all love it. With uh 4th of July coming, could you send my dad an email? He told me how much he loves your talks about your dad because it helps him be better. And even my mom loves that. Just a short one, but I know you love the military and he really loves you, like a lot. He would be so excited. I know you're busy, so if you can't, I won't be mad. I didn't tell him I was going to ask. I love that you adopted Dexter. My dad and I are black, and he says that I need great role models like AP, and I need to have role models that are not my color like you because it isn't about color. You're a great role model, and thank you for letting our family listen. Mom says it's a way for us all to be close when dad's away. Ricky, age 10 and one quarter, fifth grade from California. Boy, Ricky, you don't want to forget that one quarter. That's a big deal. Now, first, let me say something to you. Happy 4th of July to your family. And I also want you to know something. Your dad is a hero. Did you know that? Your dad's a hero. Any man or woman who's willing to put their life on the line for our country is a hero. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. I don't care about the color of their skin. And your dad's right. We need heroes of all colors because the reason there are 5 colors of humans in the world, did you know that? 5 colors is because God made us out of the dirt, and there are 5 colors of dirt. And so we need them. And Dexter, my son, he's black and Filipino, and I don't care. I love it. I love it. And so your dad's my hero. I want you to think about that. And so I want you to know I emailed your dad. And he emailed me back. I emailed him again, and he sent me his phone number. And I was able to talk to your dad for about 20 minutes. And he was very moved by your story, by your email to me. And I want you to know something, Ricky. Tonight, I'm going to be able to take Dexter and I'll be with family and I'm going to watch a bunch of fireworks. And you don't get to do that with dad because he's in Germany. And I get to do it because of your dad. And so I want you to know I am sure that you miss him so much. But because he's selfless and because your mama, such a good wife, man, you should have heard your daddy talking about how much he loves your mama. That should make you a happy boy. It made me a happy, and I hope Dexter's a happy boy listening to the way his daddy talks about his mom. But I know that, and I wanna just tell you something. Your dad shared something with me on the phone that I thought was very cool, and he told me who your favorite player is, and I thought that was pretty cool. So, what you don't know is yesterday, I shipped something out that should arrive tomorrow for you. It has something to do with your favorite player, and it's just my way of thanking your family for your dad being in Germany. So, yes, I did email him. I called him. We had a nice talk in Germany. And I just want you to know that from the Carpenter family to your family, thank you. Now, you do me a big favor, please. I want you to go give your mom the biggest hug in the world. And you tell her, Mama, I want you to know I'm proud of you because you're a hero too. Your dad told me that your mom has never one time complained about you guys being apart, that she misses him so much and he misses her so much, but she's never complained. Your mom's a hero. You've got a great family, Ricky. God has blessed you with a great family. And there's a lot of young men who don't have good daddies, who don't have good mamas, but you do. And you remember football is a great sport to watch. And Antonio Pierce is a great role model for you. He's a great dad. And Max Crosby, he's a great dad. And they're both great husbands. They're very good role models for you. Very good. And you picked two really good ones. But you remember, you're one of those young men who your biggest hero is who it should be. That's your daddy. Don't you ever put anybody else there because, man, your daddy loves you, loves your mama. And I know how much he misses you. I know it. And so I want to thank you for telling me about your dad. I want to thank you and your family for listening to the podcast. And when you look inside the package that's going to arrive tomorrow, make sure after you look at what I sent you, read what's in the envelope. Will you do that for me, Ricky? I appreciate you. Catherine, I want to say this to you, ma'am. What a great wife you are. And I asked your husband, I said, is there one thing I could tell your wife? And he goes, yeah, just tell her how much I love her and I miss her and I think about her every day. And he said something that really touched my heart and let her know she's my hero. Catherine, from all of us listening to this podcast, to Ricky, Catherine, and Rick, thank you all. You are the backbone of this country. It's not the politicians, it's the people. That's what makes our America strong. Happy birthday to America. The Raiders are blessed to have you guys as fans. Thank you all so much. Now, to all of you watching right now, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the emails. Couple of things. Remember this, please. I beg you. I beg you. Emails, got to keep them short. Some of you just, your emails are getting deleted because they're so long and we just have so many. So I'm begging you. Number two, all of you have good causes. I don't promote them on this podcast. It's not what it's about. So please just understand we're not going to do that. But I appreciate all of you. Please keep sending me your emails. 19 days away from training camp. Man, let's just get it on, huh? Happy 4th of July, everybody. Have a great day. God bless y'all.